So let me discuss about from first. Let me discuss about promise. So it is going to be more clear way. So let me open React API demo and under SRC, uh, let me create some basic things like uh, promise demo. Under promise demo, so let me create another file. So let me close the terminal first. So it's getting created. What happened? So wait a second, wait a second. I will delete this. Let me close the Visual Studio Code and let me open again. So under promise demo, promise demo one dot. So I can simply not demo promise demo.jsx. So my file got created successfully. So let me use RFC. RFC done. So what is meant by RFC and all? So let me use some basic state variables and all to discuss in a very clear way. So next, you already know we are going to discuss some basic concepts. So let further without any delay, let me create some data constant data or set data is equal to use state of null. You already know why we are going to use this and all. So let me write a command declare a. Let me I can say declaring a state variable. I can say declaring a state variable. I can say it's data. My state variable is a data. Okay. To restore, I can say to store. Sorry. To store resolve value of the promise Clearly done. Next. Wait a second, guys. So next, let me go with this constant. Why I'm using error and all? If your promise is successfully delivered, you are going to get the success message in the data in the form of data using the state variable. So if your promise getting under into error, so to receive the error message also we need to use something like so error comma set error. Again use state. Again initialize with null directly. So I'm not going to write the command again. So I can copy this command and declaring a state variable. I can say state variable as error to store resolved. Resolved it means a success message. I'm not going to store success message in error. I'm going to store the error message in error state variable. So if the promise is error value, like I can say error, if the promise error, okay, I want to write like this. If the promise is rejected, the promise is rejected. Clear? Next, I'm going to I will also take another state variable to check flag or set flag is equal to use state. But initially I want to use in a true condition directly. We'll see why I'm declaring this directly, but I will explain you clearly. I want to declare a state, declaring a state variable. I declared a new state variable called as flag. I declared a new state variable called flag. So using flag, I can control whether the promise is resolved or reject. Okay, I can say using flag, I can control, I can control, I can control whether the promise is whether the promise is resolved, resolved or rejected. Resolved in the sense accepted or rejected. So I'm going to check in this case. So clear, guys. So I clearly initialized three use state. So state variables, data, error, and flag. If the promise is resolved, my data is going to be stored in the data state variable. I'm going to display my data using the data object. So if my promise is rejected, I'm going to store my error message in this error. I will display this error. So my error message is going to be displayed to the front end part. If I'm going to check whether the promise is rejected or accepted, everything and all. So next. So before this, wait a second. Okay, how to I can. Okay, let us all try to check what I can say. Uh, if the promise is delivered or not, like promise is rejected or not rejected, we can say using simple message. Okay, I can say constant message is equal to I'm learning. Yeah, I'm learning React.js. So this is my message. Okay, this is my message. Okay. If I want to display this message, if this message is displayed, it means if this message is displayed, it means my promise is in a success stage. If this message is not displayed, it means I got my promise is not resolved. My promise is in rejected stage. Okay. Okay. I'm going to show you. Don't worry. Wait a second. So let me discuss in a clear way. So let me write a function to check whether my function is delivered or not. Okay, like if my function is displayed correctly, my promise is accepted. If my message is not displayed correctly, it means my promise is in a pending state or reject state. So let me write constant make promise, constant make promise, no arguments, arrow function, open arrow function. Clear? Okay. Simply, I'm going to write simple message like return new promise, return new promise of. So this is like we can also write any name, but I'm using promise only. We are discussing on this promise concept, so I'm discussing about the promise concept, so I'm using the names as promise, make promise, and everything and all. Okay, so make return new promise of resolve, comma reject. Resolve it means our promise is in a success state. If reject it means my promise is in not a success stage. So again, arrow function done. My arrow function got opened. So I need to write my code now. So why I return this function? What is the agenda of this function? I can say function. I can say this function that returns a new promise. Returns a new promise. Okay. So let me discuss now what it is going to check. So basically, I'm going to check. I'm going to set the flag message. I'm going to set the flag message. Okay. Initially, my flag is going to be in a true condition. So I set my flag. So initially, my flag is in now true condition. I set the flag as in a true condition. Done. So true condition got set. Next. Next. If flag, if flag, I open braces. If flag resolve of where is my message variable resolve of message. So I written very clearly. See what I done. I use it to set flag. Done. I set my flag in a true condition. If true, if flag is in a true condition, resolve my message. Resolve my message. If flag is in a true, if flag is not in a true condition, so for that let me write a message to display reject of fail it to come like fail it to learn React.js. Fail it to learn React.js. Clear? If my flag is in a true condition, I'm going to deliver my message. It means I got success message. If the promise is in a in a false condition, I'm going to get a message called as failure to learn React.js. Clear, guys? Clear? So I don't require to write the comments, but for better understanding, I'm writing comments also. Please be focused here. What this line of code is going to do? This line of code is unnecessary. Like I can say, this line of code is unnecessary. Like this thing, like I can say, because we already set the value in a true condition, so no need to set flag again. But what I can say, I want to habituate. I want you to habituate like this. So I'm writing this code again. Okay, and like I can say directly, this line of code is unnecessary. This line of code is unnecessary and does nothing useful. I can say does nothing useful because you already assigned the value automatically in the true condition. If you use null here, we need to assign directly, but we assign the value directly. We assign the true value directly, so automatically the flag value is in true condition now. Okay, so I directly written here this line of code is unnecessary and does nothing useful. Okay, why it is nothing useful? I can say directly if it attempts to set the state to the current value. I can say its current value again. What is the current value? It's a true condition. It is assigning the flag value again to true condition only. Already true లో ఉంది. మళ్ళీ దాన్ని true లోకి assign చేస్తుంది. అంతే, అంతకుమించి ఏం లేదు. It is assigning again to the true state. It is already in the true state. It is assigning again to the true state only. Okay, nothing is going to affect. Okay, no issue. What is if condition is doing? If flag is true, it resolve the promise with the message. So I can write directly if flag is true, resolve the promise with the simple message, message. Okay, let me copy this line of code again. So I can write here. So I can write above. If the flag is false, it won't resolve. It will reject the promise. It will reject the promise with an error message or with an error message instead of a simple message. So let me write like this. Wait a second. With an error message. Clear, everyone? So we written the code very successfully. So let me introduce a new concept now, use effect. We already discussed in a previous classes. Again, I want to recap with the in today's session also. We created a function that returns a promise, but we need to write a use effect code also. Why? Because it has to use effect hook to run the logic when the component is mounted. Okay, the component is mounted. So let me use effect now. Use effect. So use effect. What it is going to do? Use effect. Open arrow function. Done. Open arrow function. I can say I need to call the function. I need to call the make promise function from the use effect. Okay. Make promise function from the use effect. Next. Open. I need to call the function. I call the function successfully. Done. I called the function from my use effect function. So next done. So without any delay, please dot then C, enter. Okay, then C. Don't get panic about the how I got the syntax and all. C dot, type along with me, then C, enter. You are going to get an extra dot here. Please remove the extra dot and you can continue with the given syntax. Clear. If your promise is in a success state, you are going to get then block and executed. If your promise is rejected, you're going to get your output from the catch block. Okay. So let me discuss clearly. So I can write the comments here directly to avoid issues. Use effect hook to run logic. Use effect hook to run logic when component is mounted. When component is mounted. Clear. Done. What is meant by what is going to done? It is going to call make promise function. It is going to call make promise and handle the response. Handle the response. Clear everyone? So next, what I'm going to write here. So we are going to assign this message to, we are going to assign this message. If my promise is successfully handled, I'm going to I'm going to set my message to this data using set data. So if my promise is done, set data of set data of set data of result. Okay, set data of result. Clear? I hope it's clear as of now. Okay, next. If my message is like if my promise is in a reject state, if my promise is in a reject state, I'm going to store my message using set error. Set error of ERR. Done. So much as of now is very much clear, guys. Set data of result, set error of error. This error is going to store it in this error. My data is going to show in the data. Okay, we're going to store the data and we are going to store the error message as well. So I don't need to write the comments, but I'm writing if promise is resolved. If promise is resolved, store result in data. If if promise is if promise is rejected, store error message in, I can say store error in ERR. Simple. Simple, guys. Okay. As of now, is very much clear. We done successfully. But we for like why we didn't get the exact syntax here. We need to get the syntax actually, but we didn't get the syntax. No issue as of now. Okay, and empty dependency also nothing makes fix. No. So no issue, guys. Leave it like this. Empty dependency. Where like why I'm leaving in empty dependency is nothing but empty dependency array means this runs only once when the component amounts. I don't want to use, but this is a basic syntax. So I need to remember. I need to you to remember. So done as of now. We created a promise. We created a use effect message. So whenever our promise is getting accepted, we are going to store the data. If my promise is rejected, I'm not going to store the data. Clear, guys? So next. So let me come back to my main thing. Inside the div tag, I can write one comment here, promise demo, like one rhyme, promise demo. Directly I can write one directly I can write here to render my output on the screen. I'm going to write directly what I'm going to write. If data not equal to null, if data not equal to null question mark, I'm asking this. నేను అడుగుతున్నా వాడిని. So if data is not equal to null, if data is not equal to null, display my data. Otherwise, display the error message. Done, guys? Done. If my data is not, if my data is not null, display my data. If my data is null, let me know the error message. Clear, guys? So let me, where is my data got stored? Where my data got stored? Inside the data variable. So use the data variable. Done as of now. Done. Why we are getting means we didn't completed the syntax completely. You know already what is meant by ternary operators. We are going to use ternary operator concept here. Data is not equal to null question mark. Data is not equal to null question mark. Uh, if the data is not equal to null, display my data. If the data is null, let me check with this. Error not equal to null. Error not equal to null. Let me display my error message. Where I stored my error message, I stored it error. Done. If nothing is there, if nothing is going to there, so let me print nothing message. Simple. Okay. If you remove this, you are going to get an error. Okay. If data is what it is meant by, if data exists, show the data. What it is meant by else if error exists, show the error. Otherwise, else default. Clear? So let me write a comment. It will sense it will give you more clear. If data exists, if data exists, show the data. Okay. Else if error exists, else if error exists, show the error message. Else show default, or in default is nothing but nothing. Okay. So let me run this now. What happened? Why I'm getting an error? Okay, no issue, leave it. So let me come back to my app.jsx. So let me remove all this code. So let me render my component here. Promise demo done. So let me execute now once. It's going to check how it is going to be done. npm run there. Wait a second. See, promise demo. I'm learning React.js. It means my promise in a success stage. Okay. So how to change? I can say simply, if I change the true condition to false condition, see, failure to learn React.js. Failure to learn React.js. So it means it is if you set in a false condition, it is in the reject state. Okay. If it is set in the true condition, it means my promise is accepted and my promise is in a success stage. If you are facing an error, it means your promise in a reject state. If you are getting success message, it means your promise is resolved. What is meant by pending state? Like what I can say means pending, it is nothing but accepted, but it is taking time to show the output. So in these cases, we can say pending. Okay, some cases like whenever we make a transaction to any other merchants or any other users, it will get some delay. It will show it, sometimes it will show you whether you completed the payment process, but whenever you go to your Yono SBI or any history, it will show you, it will take some time to transfer the money to your some other's account. It will show you like that. It means it's in a pending state. So like this is also called as pending state. We'll discuss about more on pending state and a practical implementation. As of now, I've shown you how to resolve your error, or how it is going to accept the, how the promise is going to be accepted, and I've shown you how the error is rejected and resolved. Clear, guys? So let me complete. I want to show you one thing. Like, wait a second. Uh, so why if we are getting only error message and what we say, we are getting only error message or data exist message. If you want to get the nothing message also, I want to show you. Please comment set error. So directly you are going to get nothing message. Okay, where you are not getting any nothing message in the sense it is on the true condition. Let me change this to false condition. So let me check the output. So you are now getting nothing condition. Done by next. If this is in true condition, you are going to get I'm learning React.js. If it is in a false condition, you are not setting any. I can say you are not storing any error message. So you are not getting any error message. You are directly getting lost block executed. Directly else block. So nothing. Okay. To avoid this, we can also use error message. You can also, you don't want to use error message. So what you are going to get. So what I done here. So false. It is also directly it is in false. So let me show you. Fail to learn React.js. Done. So avoid this true condition. So I'm learning React.js. Done, guys.